Our top business story on this Wednesday is British Columbia suing Alberta over a bill that could turn off the oil taps. Jameson Berkow joining us from BNN Bloomberg this morning. We heard it characterized this way. They say they don't want Alberta oil, but they're going to sue them over the right to not get Alberta oil.
That is exactly what they're doing.
And really, what's the point of all this bluster? The Prime Minister has said, look, we're going to write a check to make sure that this thing goes through. They've given a deadline, and they've given their word. What is BC doing?
At this point, I think it's just political survival for the Premier, John Horgan, Anne-Marie, because he is really beholden to the Green Party. Andrew Weaver, the head of the BC Green Party, has already said if Horgan wavers even a little bit on his opposition to Trans Mountain in any way, he will stop supporting the BC NDPs. And that is the only reason the NDP is in power in BC right now, is because they got a very slim majority support in the BC legislature because of those 3 members of the Green Party. So Horgan could see his entire government fall if all of a sudden Andrew Weaver decides, hey, you know what, I don't think that you've kept up your end of the bargain and used, as Horgan said before, every tool in the toolbox to try and stop this pipeline. But that doesn't negate your point, Anne-Marie, because it is still, from those of us who are physically and maybe figuratively as well outside of this debate, raises a lot of quizzical fishhook eyebrows.
Well, and especially, Alberta saying they're going to turn off the oil taps. Is that really going to happen?
It doesn't seem like something that would be all that practically achievable, especially because the way they structured this law would be just really complex and difficult, because you'd have to have the energy minister go to each individual shipper, and there are dozens, and they change on any given day, and the issue with compliance becomes like, how are you actually going to monitor whether or not they actually complied with that license that you gave? I think it really is just kind of a shot across BC's bow to say, you don't want our oil? Well, here is a taste of what it might be like without our oil, which perhaps might be the purpose of this legislation in and of itself, without actually having to enact it.
And Premier Rachel Notley in a fight for herself for political standing in a province that is a little unhappy.
She is potentially going to be the only provincial leader in Alberta to not have her party run that province for about, I believe, 40 years.
40 years was the last one.
It was about 44 years was the last one, and then before that, another 40 years. It seems like a trend in Alberta that may get broken depending on whether or not Jason Kenney gets his way.
Yeah, the business behind the politics this morning. Thanks so much, Jameson.
It's my pleasure, Anne-Marie.